The MacBook Neo is the kind of product I never expected Apple to make. At first glance, it almost feels anti-Apple. For years, the cheapest MacBooks have usually started at $999 aside from older models like the MacBook Air M1, which sometimes dropped as low as $699 during sales. But the MacBook Neo starts at just $599 for education users. That is a massive $500 less than the new MacBook Air M5. A price hike that should raise a lot of concerns, and honestly it does. But after spending time testing the MacBook Neo, I can say this clearly, it is the most complete laptop I have ever used under $600. It also beats every Windows laptop in its class, and it outclasses most Chromebooks too. For $599 you get a strong aluminum body, a bright and colorful 500 nit display, and a surprisingly fast A18 Pro chip that handles everyday tasks with ease. Web browsing, video playback, casual gaming, and day-to-day productivity all feel smooth. On top of that, the side speakers are far better than you would expect at this price. So what did Apple have to cut to make this happen? Where does the MacBook Neo stand in larger laptop market? And is it actually the right choice for you? Here is my full MacBook Neo review with the real pros and cons laid out clearly. The A18 Pro chip is one of the biggest reasons the MacBook Neo exists, and it is also one of the most interesting parts of the machine. Instead of using an M series chip like other modern Macs, Apple chose the A18 Pro, the same chip that powered the iPhone 16 Pro. At first, that sounds unusual. Putting a phone chip in a laptop is not the standard approach, but the logic behind it actually makes a lot of sense. Apple has far more experience designing mobile chips than computer chips, and its high-end iPhone silicon is now extremely powerful in a low-cost laptop that may be smarter than using a weak traditional laptop chip that struggles to keep up. By using an older iPhone chip, Apple lowers the cost without sacrificing too much real-world performance. So why not use an older M chip like the M1? Apple says the A18 Pro has a 16-core neural engine that is better suited for on-device AI tasks, including Apple Intelligent features inside macOS. The M1 is not as capable in that area, and the A18 also benefits from faster memory that makes this choice look a lot more strategic than strange. And because the A18 Pro is still a 64-bit ARM-based chip, the MacBook Neo runs full macOS, not a restricted mobile operating system. You are not stuck with iPhone apps. You can run standard Mac software just like you would on a MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, or Mac Studio. macOS runs well on the Neo, and although it is not as snappy as my MacBook Pro, it still feels impressive for the price. For the best experience though, you should keep expectations realistic and stick mainly to lighter apps. I used built-in tools like GarageBand and Keynote, and both run smoothly. That is the kind of workload this laptop handles best. You can still go beyond that. I installed Steam, which requires Rosetta on non-Intel hardware, and it worked. That shows how open the MacBook Neo is compared with Chromebooks, which are still far more limited in the apps they can run. Some budget Windows laptops also ship with Windows 11 in S mode, which is basically a locked down version of Windows that awkward app restrictions. The MacBook Neo avoids all of that. In practical terms, this makes the Neo much more flexible than a Chromebook or a Windows S mode laptop. It is also more useful than an iPad Pro in some ways, even though the iPad Pro may be more powerful on paper. The reason is simple: the Neo runs full Mac software, not iPad OS apps. Apple's ecosystem features also work here. You can mirror your iPhone, drag and drop files, make calls, send messages, share your clipboard, and use an iPad as a secondary display. I tested it with the latest M5 iPad Pro, and the setup worked extremely well. That is important because it means the MacBook Neo does not feel like a second-class Mac. You still get the same broad Apple experience as you do on more expensive models, and that is a huge win for a lower cost device. The limits are really about hardware, not software. If you want to do heavy 3D work, advanced video editing, or large creative projects, the MacBook Neo is going to struggle. It is not built for those jobs. The biggest concern is the 8GB of unified memory. That is enough for basic use, but it is not generous by modern standards. And because the memory is unified, it is shared between the system and graphics, which makes multitasking tighter than it would be on a laptop with more memory. During my testing with Safari, Keynote, GarageBand, and a Steam download, all active memory uses climb to around 6.48GB to 7GB. That is dangerously close to the ceiling. Once you get too close to the limit, performance starts to dip. There is also no upgrade path for memory, and you cannot just open the laptop and add more yourself. That means the 8GB configuration is something you have to live with for the lifetime of the device. For most students or casual users, that may be fine as long as they keep their workload light. But anyone who likes to jump between many apps or run heavier software should look at the MacBook Air M5 instead, which starts with 16GB of unified memory. Gaming is possible too, but again expectations matter. I got Cyberpunk 2077 running at a playable 30fps using the For This Mac preset. It was not a generous experience because most settings were pushed very low and advanced effects were disabled, but the fact that a $599 fanless laptop can run a game like that at all is impressive. You can also play iPhone and iPad games, which are much better suited to this hardware. Overall, the MacBook Neo performs very well for the price. It is excellent for everyday tasks, surprisingly capable with many Mac apps, and flexible enough to general use. But it is not a productivity powerhouse, and it should not be treated like one. One more advantage deserves mention: the MacBook Neo is fanless. That means it stays quiet in use, which is a major benefit over many budget Windows laptops that get noisy as soon as the system starts working harder. Battery life is another area where the MacBook Neo makes a strong case for itself. Apple claims up to 16 hours of video streaming on a single charge or up to 11 hours of wireless web browsing. Those are solid figures for a laptop this size, especially one using a chip that originally came from an iPhone. In testing, the MacBook Neo lasted 13.5 hours before shutting down. That is more than enough for a full school day or a full work day for most people. It may not be the longest lasting Chromebooks, but it is still excellent. That makes it a great option for students who do not want to spend the day searching for a charger. And when it is time to recharge, the included 20-watt adapter gets the job done quickly unless you are in the UK or EU, where no charger is included. The MacBook Neo is the best budget laptop you can buy right now. It is true that Neo sits at the upper end of what many people would call budget, but the gap in quality between this and most Windows laptops or Chromebooks at the same price is huge. The design is premium, the display is excellent, the speakers are surprisingly strong, and the performance is more than good enough for day-to-day work. What impresses me most is that Apple did not cripple macOS just to hit a lower price. You still get the full Mac experience along with support for the broader Apple ecosystem. That makes the Neo feel like a real MacBook, not a watered-down version. Yes, there are compromises. The USB-C setup is awkward, the keyboard has no backlight, and the 8GB memory limit is restrictive, but those issues are understandable in a laptop this affordable, even if they are still disappointing. At the end of the day, Apple has made a budget MacBook that actually feels worth buying. It is not the cheapest option on the market, but it is one of the smartest.